Sharyl Attkisson, Follow the Science, How Big Pharma Misleads, Obscures, and Prevails. In the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, as the United States grappled with fears of bioterrorism, a set of concealed hazards emerged, ones that reverberate through our healthcare and ethical frameworks to this day. Follow the Science by Sharyl Attkisson uncovers the unsettling truths surrounding vaccine safety, informed consent, and the integrity of drug approvals. Readers will journey through the uncharted territories of vaccine-associated risks and ethical lapses in medical research, epitomized by unsettling cases like the controversial Aduhelm approval and the overlooked vaccine side effects. This summary elucidates how political and financial motivations can obscure scientific integrity, challenging the public's trust in institutions meant to safeguard them. Expect to question the very essence of what it means to follow the science, as we dissect the entanglements of government narratives, pharmaceutical interests, and public health oversight.
Hidden Perils of Bioterror Preparedness. In the wake of 9/11, the rush to fortify national security in the United States led to rapid bioterrorism preparedness efforts, centered around mass vaccinations against potential threats like smallpox. This response, while aimed at safeguarding military personnel and healthcare workers, soon unraveled a host of unforeseen issues concerning vaccine safety and oversight. Smallpox vaccination, though once crucial in disease eradication, bore significant dangers. Severe complications such as heart inflammation affected approximately 1 to 3 individuals per million vaccinated. As the initiative unfolded, concerning adverse effects surfaced, yet experts suspected the scope of harm was grossly underrated. Among the overlooked cases was the tragic death of NBC journalist David Bloom, who died from a blood clot post-vaccination, initially not linked to the vaccines but later scrutinized for possible connections. Bloom's case shed light on how many similar incidents might have been ignored due to inadequate reporting mechanisms. By mid-2003, the appearance of more side effects, including heart issues and civilian fatalities, prompted a quiet scale-back of the program. This decision highlighted an urgent need for transparency and stringent oversight in public health measures, especially when human lives are at stake. Beyond bioterrorism, it signaled a broader, pressing ethical concern within healthcare, the vital importance of informed consent in medical research, hinting at a deeper discussion that awaits. The cost of advancement. Informed consent stands as a fundamental principle in medical ethics, designed to guarantee patient awareness of research risks before participation. However, not all studies honor this vital practice, as demonstrated by the Support Baby Oxygen study. Conducted from 2005 to 2009, this government-funded experiment sought to determine optimal oxygen levels for premature infants, inadvertently showcasing the medical establishment's capability to obscure true risks, particularly from vulnerable participants. Conducted across 23 esteemed institutions, including Duke and Yale, this study misled mothers by promising support without revealing the true nature of the research. Instead, infants were randomly assigned varying oxygen levels, while clinicians were provided manipulated readings to prevent adjustments. Consequently, these premature infants faced severe risks such as blindness, brain damage, and even death. The Office for Human Research Protections later found the informed consent process ethically lacking, concluding that parents were not properly informed of these dangers. Despite these findings, significant corrective measures were thwarted by political pressures from academic bodies. This case underscores a crucial message: scientific progress should never come at the expense of patient safety. It highlights the unwavering necessity for transparency and upholding stringent ethical standards, ensuring that all medical research practices genuinely protect the well-being of participants, particularly the most vulnerable. Trust in question. In 2021, Aduhelm appeared as a beacon of hope for those battling Alzheimer's, promising to tackle its suspected cause, amyloid plaques. Positioned as a revolutionary treatment, the anticipation was high. However, the drug's arrival was mired in controversy, sparking debates about the ethics of its approval. 2 years prior, clinical trials were abruptly halted, casting doubt on Aduhelm's effectiveness. Yet, Biogen, the drug's manufacturer, propelled forward, working closely with the FDA despite these concerns. This partnership raised eyebrows, particularly with a joint report that blurred the lines of impartiality and invited criticism from scientific and watchdog communities alike. The FDA's advisory committee stood staunchly against Aduhelm's approval, citing a lack of convincing evidence. Their resistance was palpable, with 10 members rejecting the drug outright. Nevertheless, the FDA gave it the green light, igniting a firestorm of disbelief and anger within the medical field. The spiral of issues extended beyond efficacy. Aduhelm's astronomical price tag of $56,000 per year posed a significant economic challenge, risking heavy burdens on Medicare and the taxpayer's wallet. Further complicating matters were reports of severe side effects, like brain swelling, with Biogen denying any direct links. Fast forward to 2023, a similar narrative unfolded with the approval of another Biogen drug, Leqembi. Despite its modest benefits, it carried a lofty annual price of $26,500, again putting the spotlight on the intricacies of the FDA's approval processes and its ties to pharmaceutical firms. The urgency for enhanced scrutiny and transparent oversight in drug approvals has never been more apparent, especially when public health and financial resources hang in the balance. Vaccine transparency concerns. Vaccines are heralded as vital weapons against disease, yet many behind-the-scenes aspects of their development, safety, and regulation remain obscured, raising significant ethical issues. These life-saving tools are frequently enveloped in narratives strongly influenced by corporate and governmental assurances, overshadowing crucial concerns about transparency and informed consent. While severe vaccine side effects are rare, their possible consequences, ranging from brain damage to paralysis, are not always clearly communicated. Parents of vaccine-injured children often find themselves battling a legal system that favors pharmaceutical companies, encountering a vaccine court with limited power and protections skewed towards manufacturers. Historical incidents, like brain injuries linked to the DPT vaccine, remind us that even widely used vaccines are not without risks. The silence from public health officials and pharmaceutical firms around these issues fuels suspicion, particularly when cases like Hannah Polling's vaccine-related autism settlement emerge undisclosed to the public. The COVID-19 pandemic further exposed these vulnerabilities, as government assurances about vaccine efficacy and safety crumbled amid conflicting data and growing misinformation. Even high-profile figures contracted the virus despite extensive vaccination efforts, revealing cracks in the official public health narrative. This inconsistency bred a deepening distrust among the public towards institutions meant to safeguard them, highlighting a critical need for improved transparency and honest communication. The resulting chaos emphasizes the urgent need for more accountability and openness to restore public confidence and ensure vaccines continue to serve their profound purpose of disease prevention without betraying the trust placed in health authorities and their assurances. Cracks in COVID trust. During the COVID-19 pandemic, public trust in health institutions waned, rooted deeply in missteps and misinformation. When President Biden contracted COVID-19 twice in July 2022, despite high vaccination, it spotlighted inconsistencies in the health narrative. Initially, figures like Dr. Anthony Fauci and Dr. Rochelle Walensky asserted that vaccines would shield from illness, yet their own multiple infections raised doubts. A significant miscalculation emerged from the guidance to isolate at home. Despite early hospital data revealing that a majority of admissions were individuals who adhered to this advice, this insight was neglected. Governor Cuomo pointed out that 66% of hospitalized patients had been staying indoors, yet health authorities continued promoting isolation over outdoor time, inadvertently fostering higher illness rates. Meanwhile, fear-driven media narratives, such as the exaggerated impact of the 2020 Sturgis motorcycle rally, went unaddressed, intensifying public anxiety. Dr. Fauci's influence came with its contradictions. His varied statements on the virus's severity and mask efficacy caused confusion. While he minimized COVID-19's danger in scientific circles, his public messaging was far grimmer, shaking confidence in his guidance. Exaggerated fatality rates further fueled panic, as officials overlooked asymptomatic cases, inflating mortality figures. As vaccination rates climbed, rising infection numbers contradicted official assurances about vaccine effectiveness. Simultaneously, natural immunity, often proven more robust than vaccines, was downplayed. These repeated communication failures fostered skepticism towards health authorities. Misinformation, originating from both official and media sources, corroded public faith. The pandemic's unfolding showed that as policies and statements wavered, so did the people's trust in their leaders' health advice. Politics versus pandemic solutions. In the early chaos of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world urgently sought treatments as they awaited vaccines. Hydroxychloroquine, historically used against malaria, quickly gained attention following promising studies from China and France. However, assessing its true potential was complicated by political and financial entanglements. The media, influenced by an alarming Veterans Affairs report, cast the drug as unsafe, obscuring evidence suggesting its efficacy when administered early. This characterization was not solely scientific but significantly influenced by political dynamics. President Trump's endorsement of hydroxychloroquine spurred media outlets to both promote it as a miracle cure and aggressively discredit it due to his support. Concurrently, remdesivir, initially created for Ebola, garnered backing from the public health sphere, despite showing only modest benefits. The FDA approved remdesivir for emergency use while restricting hydroxychloroquine to hospitals, hindering early-stage treatment potential. Experts like Dr. William O'Neill highlighted how political agendas overshadowed scientific inquiry, with significant studies of hydroxychloroquine halted amidst media-fueled apprehensions. This preference for vaccine development over cost-effective treatments like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin raised red flags. Potential benefits of these cheaper alternatives were overlooked, suggesting financial interests, particularly from pharmaceutical companies, might have significantly shaped public health strategies. This situation emphasizes how profit-driven motives potentially dictated the acceptance or rejection of certain treatments during the pandemic's critical stages. Long COVID's hidden impact. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, an often underestimated health crisis has taken shape, known as long COVID and long vax. These conditions are linked to spike proteins and microclotting within the body, impacting millions globally. By early 2024, nearly 25% of adults reported persistent health issues, many of whom had been vaccinated. Yet, the potential contribution of vaccines to these conditions is frequently overlooked in public discourse. Long after initial exposure to the virus or vaccination, an array of symptoms can emerge, ranging from brain fog and muscle stiffness to severe complications like strokes and heart attacks. Many physicians, lacking definitive guidelines, often dismiss or misdiagnose these ailments. Fortunately, a few dedicated doctors are stepping up to address the issue. Dr. Jordan Vaughn, an internal medicine expert in Alabama, leads this charge. He focuses on tackling microclots, small clots that evade detection in routine tests but severely affect patients. By employing treatments such as anticoagulants, Dr. Vaughn has been successful in rehabilitating those previously confined to their beds due to these mysterious conditions. The spike protein, whether from the virus itself or vaccination, seems to incite these clots, which disrupt blood flow and oxygen supply to critical organs, causing systematic health challenges. While new research begins to shed light, widespread medical acknowledgement remains limited. As a result, patients are often forced to seek independent specialists dedicated to confronting these complex health dilemmas directly. Without unified action from the medical community, the path to proper diagnosis and effective treatment remains uncertain for many afflicted individuals.
In Follow the Science, Attkisson crafts a compelling narrative that exposes the hidden underbelly of public health policy and pharmaceutical practices. The book's closing message is one of caution and awareness. It underscores the urgent necessity for transparency and rigorous scrutiny in health-related decisions. By examining ethical failings in research consent, vaccine safety transparency, and drug approval controversies, it becomes alarmingly clear how vested interests can skew public narratives. From the questionable approval of Alzheimer's medications to the mishandled public messaging during the COVID-19 pandemic, the book offers a clarion call for accountability. Attkisson's exploration urges readers to remain vigilant and informed, pushing for a healthcare system that is not only driven by profit but firmly anchored in ethical integrity and public trust. In sum, understanding these complex issues is crucial for anyone interested in ensuring that science truly serves humanity's best interests.